The first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew are out, and we'll unpack our thoughts on that in a moment, but more importantly, while benign on the surface, this show could be building up to something that could be more destructive to the IP than Acolyte could even dream of. I'm worried.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Okay, first let's start off with some positives. While the story so far is very simple and straightforward, each of the characters seems to be pretty well written. Their motivations are clear, and they act consistently with those motivations. Unlike The Acolyte, where motivations were as fluid as too much Taco Bell at 4 a.m. after a bender.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
No, the kids themselves are well cast, and each one of them seems to have more genuine acting chops than 3/4 of the Disney Star Wars universe put together. Let's dispense with the obvious first. It's a kid's show, at least that's how it was sold to us, and Star Wars was originally targeted towards kids. So it makes complete sense to go after that new audience. And like most kid-centric shows, like the Ewok movies from the 80s or Muppet Babies, they're fun and generally harmless to the overall lore. But there was something that was nagging at me through the whole first episode, and the twist in the second one has me genuinely concerned. I've repeatedly pointed out the creative bankruptcy in Hollywood for a while now. They say there are no new ideas, but come on guys, there are limits. So on one hand, we've had people writing completely unrelated stories involving their own agenda and dressing it up in Star Wars clothes.
Like the Crapolite.
Or they're just lifting themes and story beats from other products and putting a Star Wars skin on it. In this case, the first episode alone is E.T., The Goonies, Flight of the Navigator, and A New Hope, all in one.
Too much A New Hope, if you ask me. The Force Awakens was a remake as it is. They need to stop ringing that bell. Speaking of Bell.
No, but that wasn't what was bothering me. In 1977, George Lucas established the ground rules for this universe in the very first words seen on the screen. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. We were then transported to that place, far away from the problems and issues of our own lives. It was something new, but familiar at the same time. Characters like Luke were dreaming of adventure and a life of meaning.
The first episode could have started with a long time ago in a suburb of Los Angeles.
Exactly. Suburban row houses that looked like they were lifted right from E.T. Kids on bikes, kids worrying about tests, kids worrying about being accepted, a tiger mom of a Karen pushing her rebellious daughter perhaps too far.
Not to mention kids literally playing with action figures and having pretend lightsaber duels.
Star Wars is supposed to transport us away so we can lose ourselves in the story, not be so meta and self-aware that it ruins our suspension of disbelief.
And then came the twist.
And then came the twist. The discovery that their home world was unknown to the galaxy, that it was hidden from the outside world, a myth, a legend. At first I thought, this is kind of a neat twist, even though the navicomputer on their ship would have had the coordinates of where they entered hyperspace from, so getting back home should be easy, but whatever. But then something occurred to me, a thought that, if true, could do far worse damage to Star Wars lore than The Acolyte. What if the similarities of their planet, the people, school buses, Los Angeles-like suburbs, wasn't a coincidence?
They wouldn't dare.
Normally I would say no way, but given the utter insanity that Lucasfilm has inflicted on us in the past and how low the bar has gotten, I wouldn't put it past them to literally add Earth into the lore.
That doesn't make sense. If Earth does exist, it's got to be in a different galaxy.
Yeah, you and I know that, but the flaw in your logic is that you're using logic. Lucasfilm hasn't been aligned with the logical side of the Force for quite some time. I hope to God I'm wrong, obviously.
Technically, Earth is in the lore. It's referenced in the Star Tours ride.
But that's a contrivance for the ride's sake. No one's going to consider that canon.
There's also a comic book,
Star Wars Tales number 19, where Han Solo and Chewie crash land in the Pacific Northwest. Han is killed by creative Americans. Han is killed by the Native Americans, and his skeleton is discovered by Indiana Jones, who was hunting for Sasquatch.
Chewie
Chewie.
Maybe they're hiding a cloning facility, you alarmist git.
Again, I desperately hope I'm wrong. I really do. But 2 episodes in, I can say so far that the story is coherent. The money spent is actually on the screen. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing where all of this goes, which is a hell of a lot more than the Acolyte gave us.
And what about the rumor that Lucasfilm hates this show?
If that's true, that's a hilarious indictment that they utterly have no clue what they're doing, and they need to go find work at the Spice Mines of Kessel selling woke pencils or something like that. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments and stay fresh, cheese bags.
Woke pencils? Is that the best you can do?